And welcome back to part 15 of What If Naruto was adopted by the third Hokage. Last time, they pretty much saved Gaara, agreeing she has to give her life. Sasori and Desra are dead here, though. As Naruto's level of skill plus Sakura's level of skill, all that boosted incredibly. Which now leaves us in a very interesting scenario for the Sasuke retrieval arc. Kakashi's fine, Sakura's fine, Naruto's fine. They don't need to find another teammate. Now, what I do think they'll do is still get Tenzo or Yamato to join them because, having an extra Jonin on there will make it very, formidable for them. But, yeah, so they have a little bit of downtime. Naruto's kind of wandering around. Which, honestly, I think Naruto and Sakura are both kind of just wandering around together. I don't think they run into Hinata or Kiba because, remember, Naruto was looking for teammates at that point. He was looking for people actively. This is them just wandering around. Naruto and Sakura run into Shikamaru and Choji, and they have that little laugh there. It's like, oh, you guys on a date? To which Sakura's like, kind of blush. Sakura blushes and Naruto actually supposed to say, no, we're not on a date, but that doesn't mean we can't spend time together, does it? And yeah, it's like, they still chat. But all of their danger senses kick in as, the ink clone comes out. And because, the advisors and Danzo are still going to try to put Sai on the team. And Naruto immediately and Choji destroys the ink clone that comes at them. Naruto brings out a couple clones. Sakura comes in. Sai's still sending them, and Naruto just sends out some shuriken from his hand, just enhanced with wind, and just quickly takes them out. He rushes in there, gusting with some wind, basically using Gale Palm from his legs, which is something you could easily warp that technique into to basically launch yourself. And launches himself, and they clash. It's like, oh, you're pretty weak. Are you a boy or are you a boy or a girl? I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you ask her? To which Sakura's right behind him. Just, and Naruto has to dash. Oh boy! It's like, sorry, Naruto. It's like, it's fine. He gets his ninja wire from one of the other seals because he's got gloves now that are littered with seals. But he's had so much training with him, he can immediately activate them without any trouble. So, he grabs side by side, turns into an ink clone. It's like, damn it, ink clone. And it was a clone. Naruto, suddenly goes into sage mode, just tries to sense around. So, I can't pick up where he is. I should have gone to stage mode at the beginning and got an idea what his chakra's like. And he just phases out of sage mode. So come the next day, Kakashi is reporting with both Naruto and Sakura for the team. And excuse me, 1 second. I had dinner, and I got some gas trap in there. Let's see, you'll be accompanied by both. This will be a 5-man team for this mission. You'll be accompanied by Yamato. You three will be accompanied by Yamato, and Yamato shows up, introduces himself. They say hi. He mentions that he's one of Kakashi's old pupils. Isn't that right, Sensei? That's right. And Sai. He's like, Sai? And basically, he's like, that's the guy who attacked us yesterday. You say, oh, is that right? And it's like, what's this? A ninja attacking ninja? Not very sportsmanlike. That's a very a serious offense, isn't it? It's like Tsunai's now seeing her way to get him off the team. To which Sai quickly has to now realize he has to try to defend himself, which isn't easy because he's so emotionally dead at this point in the series. It's like, oh, I just wanted to see who I'd be working against. I mean, I didn't. I want to be sure I wouldn't have any dead weight on the team, be pulling down the heavy lifting. And so, yeah, and what do you think? I still think you're pretty weak. I still can't tell if you're a boy or a girl. I can't tell if you're a boy or a girl. It's just like, that's enough, both of you. And it's like you have no right. You have no right to talk to him after you came out and attacked us. And by the way, you lost that confrontation. I'll have you know. No, I just did a strategic retreat. If we were to fight again, I'm pretty sure I'd win. Sai, and that might not sound like something Sai would say, but let's be honest, Sai was a dick. Sai was an ass. So but Kakashi and Yamato quickly say, that's enough now. That's enough. As your commander, Commander, I'm telling you to take it back a little bit there. Sai, it's like, of course, forgive me. I wasn't meaning to try to start anything. Of course, right. And so obviously we at the village, and he calls, and on the way they could call Sasuke a traitor. Naruto's holding himself back as best he can, but he's like, Sai's pushing it. Sai is pushing the buttons, and ultimately neither Sakura nor Naruto do strike him. Because Sakura, again, cares more about Naruto than she does Sasuke. Honestly, that's why she probably struck him more than struck at him than Naruto did. Neither of them strike at him, but they do threaten him as, that smile. While the smile's on their face, he just couldn't. The threat level is there. Plus, Kakashi even throws in like a vague underlying threat, which he does take seriously. So they're at the inn that both Kakashi and Yamato are paying for, and there's a hot spring scene. Only Sakura is more like, Naruto. I'm not going to be peeping on Sakura. Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, she's gorgeous and everything, but I would never do that. It's like, oh, really? Hanging out with Jiraiya Sensei? I would imagine you might some of that might have run off, but good for you, Naruto. And Naruto's still blushing. He does get the idea. He was like, no, I respect Sakura too much for that. Sakura is on the other side of the other side of the hot spring, just like blushing madly, but also like he respects me enough, but he still thinks I'm attractive, and she's blushing like embarrassed, but at the same time like, so I mean, if he really would be interested in me, I suppose. I mean, I imagine they would have a nice moment or two there. I'm not saying anything serious, but they could definitely have some nice moments there. Because remember, I haven't really given you a answer yet on who Naruto's going to end up with. And I'm still not going to. I'm just implying that because she's getting this moments with him, they'll have some nice, quiet moments together, some private, sweet moments. If it were Hinata on the team and it was still the debate, Hinata would get those moments. So, taking it as it is. It's cracking my neck there. So, obviously, they put the tracker inside. They do some practice fighting. Naruto gets caught but quickly gets out of the wood release. And, yeah, whatever. Oh, excuse me. So now we get to the scene where obviously he poses as Sasori. Kabuto's there. Now, there is no sound for. I basically said that in the last chapter. That there's probably no reason they would end up going with Orochimaru, unless it's like an official mission or something like that. Because in fact, anything, they are now most likely Sasuke's entourage. So Orochimaru comes in, shows up and just why don't you and that team come out and play? It's like he made us. He knew from the very beginning. And Kakashi, Sakura, Naruto shows it. Kakashi and little Naruto. It's been a while. I wonder which one here for Sasuke. It's like, give him back, you snake bastard. It's like, I wonder which one of you is stronger now. Now, unlike in the original Naruto is tapping into some of the Fox, he is still very much in control. Like he's not even in first tail form right now, and he's still very much in control. I mean, yes, he's angry, but he's tempered. He is tempered. He's got it in locks, but he's using that anger. And so the fight begins. Naruto suddenly does some seals off his hands, just throws ninja wire shurikens at him, and enhances it with like chakra. And so Orochimaru has to get like, so you've learned quite a bit of sealing from Jiraiya. It's like, Naruto, don't be rash. It's like, this bastard's mine. It's like, Naruto. And Kakashi tells him the real facts. Like, fine. So it seems he has gained some control over the Fox since we've last met. No, the young brat a young inexperienced brat would have just charged in, but no, you, I can see that look in your eyes. You're tapping into his power right now, aren't you? And Naruto's just like, you just wait. I've got a whole mess of stuff, a whole new bag of tricks to show you, you snake bastard. How interesting. And so Yamato help Sakura with Kabuto. Me and Naruto got Orochimaru. And so, they face off. Sasuke or Kakashi comes in, with lightning blade, but Orochimaru dodges it, only to have him get shocked by another set of lightning. He's learned lightning chakra since those years past. Orochimaru brings out his sword, just tries to swipe at Kakashi, turns into a log. Naruto just comes in, Rasengan's and he seems to have gained better control of that technique as well. And just as Orochimaru is about to, one up Naruto, Kakashi comes in, fire style, fireball jutsu. Naruto then just grabs on Orochimaru. He's like, "Oh, what are you?" It's like and grabs onto one of his hands so he can't substitute. It's like, and Orochimaru, I keep saying Sasuke. Orochimaru can see it. Naruto's got Sage Mode. It's like, how? He's mastered that, and he just basically tries to blocks her with Orochimaru as a human shield. His Sage Mode also giving him enhanced durability, so just but Orochimaru is able to basically pop out of his body thanks to that snake shedding technique. He's like, "You're not going anywhere. Wind style, Rasen Shuriken." And Kakashi's like, "What the hell?" And Orochimaru's like, "That attack, if that hits me, I'm done for. Summoning Jutsu Triple Rashomon!" And the Triple Rashomon comes out. Now, I don't know if a Rasen Shuriken Sage Enhanced would be able to take out a Triple Rashomon. I don't know if he'd be able to take out a single. Given the fact that the four-tailed bomb, honestly, it seemed to have the equivalent level of power to the four-beast tail bomb. It did seem to have some equivalent level of power. I would imagine that something along those lines would very likely be able to take down the Triple Rashomon. In fact, it might actually have a better shot because it's like a cutting effect, so it's going to maybe buzzsaw through it a bit. And just, and even if it doesn't, it's still going to encompass that empty space in between the Rashomon gates where Orochimaru still is, even though he's behind a 3. And Orochimaru does get, caught a bit on his arm. He's like, what is this? Like thousands of blades in my arm. And he does the snake shedding technique again. So this time, his arm is damaged. Like, his arm's still like, what did he do? And then Naruto's, just there. He's no longer in Sage Mode. It's like, tiring, isn't it, brat? And Naruto does have some wind out of him. Meanwhile, Kakashi is preparing. They've been preparing the whole time in the back. He's got Paku and the others ready. So, what do you think you'll do now? Me, I don't have to do anything. What? And all of a sudden, Paku and the others come out. Blasted Mutts, I'll kill you. The snake tries to creep out. Naruto just cuts the head off. Like, what? And just basically, he's firing the wind blade from his blades of wind from his mouth individually to take off the snake's head every time he summons it. And basically, Kakashi comes in. It's like, no! And he basically gets caught in Genjutsu. Now, you're going to tell me everything we need to know, Orochimaru. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But unfortunately, I don't have time to play. And he disappears in mud. Unfortunately, it was a clone. It's like, damn it, a clone. I should have known. But even an elemental clone is harder to detect with Sage Mode than a normal clone, which I believe would be true, because it is part of nature. Meanwhile, Kabuto actually is kind of getting his ass kicked by Sakura, who physically is more powerful than him. She's got Tsunai level straight, has that, but also has the Genjutsu as well. So the minute he gets caught in the Genjutsu, he tries to dispel it, gets caught by his feet with the wood ruler. He's like, what? And then crack. Just pah! I think Kabuto might actually get killed in this fight, or close to it. It's like, if he isn't killed, he is like, he's out cold. Like, because it's a combo fight, and Sakura in this version knows very powerful Genjutsu, enough to basically now supplant Kurenai as the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha, then I have little doubt that she'd be able to keep Kabuto in a serious illusion for at least a little bit. But now this leads to Sai confronting Orochimaru. Excuse me. As to replace Kabuto as he got captured, and to try to assassinate Sasuke, all that. And he's wary about it, but he delivers the piece for information from Danza. So what's that old warhawk up to? Very well. And seeing as unfortunately my trusted right hand has been severed, referring to Kawato, I will consider your proposal. Follow. And he leads into Sasuke. Sasuke's there. He's got the Sound Four kind of surrounding him. Says Orochimaru, I'm time for trading. You're late. Meet Sai. And it's like, I don't care who you are. He just scares the piss out of Sai. So they are able to make it though, because they were able to track Sai. They get in there, and they're ultimately they are confronted. Naruto finds Sai, and they still have that conversation. Like Sai still has the picture, and he smiles and thinks about his brother. And ultimately, the party crashing happens, and there's Sasuke with the Sound 4 as beck and call. Now, I don't think you get that whole where he pops out and tries to kill Naruto moment. I don't think that. I think Sasuke is just too focused on his own stuff and just doesn't care about them at the moment. Although he can tell Naruto's gotten much stronger. It's like, this isn't the time, Naruto. We'll meet again another day, but until then, stay out of my way. Let's go. It's like, you sure we could take him right now? I said, let's go. And Orochimaru and the Sound 4 has it. No, Sasuke, and Naruto tries to get out there. So jumps off with the fox trunk as quick as he can, but he just disappears in that weird teleportation genjutsu thing. I still don't know what type of technique that was. And they're just, bummed to hell. And unfortunately, I think the mission ends up failing, just like it did in the original. Now, that being said, they do have Kabuto under captured. Naruto even sealed him in a scroll, and they bring him into interrogation and try to get as much as they can out of him. Unfortunately, knowing Kabuto's backstory, they don't get a lot out of him. The Kakuzu and Hidan arc, it's about the same. In fact, it actually goes a lot quicker because Naruto doesn't have to learn the Rasen Shuriken. So ultimately, they saw, they kicked their ass, and that's quick as shit. So then you get into the other Sasuke killer and the Itachi thing. So Sasuke pretty much now Orochimaru is basically kind of. Orochimaru could probably take care of himself if he need to. Guy's on medication's bed. Sasuke comes to take his body, doesn't go, and Sasuke comes to kill him. Orochimaru comes to take his body, doesn't work. He absorbs Orochimaru into him, takes a Sound 4. Now, I still think he may go and find both. He gets Suigetsu out of there, because he's there, and he knows he'd be useful. And I think he wants Karin too, because she's a sensor type, and none of the Sound 4 were sensory types. And Jungo just comes along for the ride for obvious reasons. Everyone's like, Jungo, and Sasuke just calms him down. So even though it's a big squad, it's more like he's got the making of his own little village there. And some people want me to restart the Sound Village as a proper village. Not going to do that. So now comes the true arc. Now obviously Jiraiya ends up. Well, does Jiraiya end up dying? Yeah, I still think he does, even with a perfected Sage Mode. I still think he ends up dying. But I think he gets a couple extra shots in on Pain, definitely. Maybe he takes out an extra body, but ultimately he still ends up dying. Naruto does meet up with Hinata, so and they both interact and have a good interaction. I'm not gonna say that again. Not saying it was being paired up with who, but they go off and they go try to stop Sasuke, and obviously Obito gets in the way. Tobi's a good boy. Now, Naruto does use Sage Mode to try to figure out what's going on. And I don't know if he can figure out what's going on, like with the intangibility because of the Mangekyo, but I do think he can tell, Naruto can figure out a Sharingan when he can sense. He knows a Sharingan when he senses it. And he immediately just, it's like, what'd you say your name was? It's like, oh, Obito. I'm Tobi. Tobi's a good boy. Ah. It's like, yeah, Tobi, tell me, you want a Uchiha? It's like, what? Well, what gives you that idea? Uchiha who? Huh? Like that Sasuke guy? Not me. Really? Then why do you have a Sharingan? And to which, why do you have a Sharingan in both eyes, actually? Remember that, he did have it in both eyes, because he would just replace the eyes of another Uchiha with so many Uchiha eyes. And to which, that's where it causes Obito to be like, and then he realizes, and then the voice changes, you have Sage Mode. The Sage Mode, and hanging around Kakashi and Sasuke for so long, it would make sense you'd be able to sense his Sharingan out, wouldn't it? Uh, and so, who are you? My name's not important for right now, but as I said, I can't let you interfere with Sasuke's battle. And eventually Zetsu comes and says, "At the battle's finished, Itachi's dead, and Sasuke won." It's like, what? And by the way, yeah, the Sound Four's been, dealing with Kasame. I think a couple of them do die. Like, I would not be surprised to see that, like Jungo, no, Jungo, Jirobo, and probably, honestly, Sakan and Ukon. Now, you might be wondering, how does that work? Well, because Kasame can merge with Samahade, and because he can just feed on chakra himself, I think they're going to actually be up shit creek against him. Plus, he's just far more skilled than any of them and more powerful. So I actually think in that fight, and I think he does goad them into a fight, those two don't make it out alive. So now you still got Tayuya, you got Kitamaru, who were probably the two better members of the team anyway. You still got, obviously, Team Snake turning into Hawks. You got now what goes from a 8-man team to a 6-man team. Much more manageable. Obviously, Obito goes and gets Sasuke, tells him the story. He awakens the Mangekyo. Naruto hears about Jiraiya's passing. He's devastated. But, he trains more with Kurama and his chakra. And, Kurama and him are basically, working things out about how to use the second form and all that. Now, we do know that when Naruto did gain true control over the Fox chakra, it gave him that chakra cloak form. That's still a ways to go. He's basically got to undo the seal for that, more or less. For that to happen and subjugate the Fox, or at least, have a better working relationship than he has with the Fox. But ultimately, they're they are wow. They are still in a good working relationship. They can go in the second form now. That's what Naruto trains with this time around. And basically now we're just waiting for the invasion of Pain. So we got through a lot in this chapter. I doubt we'll get through the rest of this series. Well, I'm going to be doing the Pain invasion next. That's going to be taking up a giant chunk of that chapter on Wednesday. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'll be done with this in one day. I'm going to conservatively say I'll be done with 2 more chapters. I can see that happening. Because I don't think the Pain arc is going to take the entire, or Invasion of Pain is going to take the entirety of Part 16. I do think it'll take up a good chunk of it. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas who would win, stars, superhero, magic, what if, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to it at some point. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.